Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second part of the build Manoir and Chêne. I'm still butchering the name, it's French, I know, I'm sorry. But we're back for the second part, very exciting one this time, well I hope. What we're going to do is finish off the right and the left of the front yard here. And then we're going to start on the interior. I think this part will have like the entrance hall and then also the living room, like the communal living space. So yeah, first off, we're starting off on the right side of the land. This is, like I said, more of the free growing sort of part of the land. It's not so manicured as the entrance was. This is a bit more, bit more chilled out, and it's really a place that I wanted the Sims to come out and just, you know, reflect, have maybe a romantic moment together, but just to kind of relax and de-stress. So I added this little archway. I think that's from the romantic garden stuff. I don't know what it's called, but the romantic stuff pack. I really like the things in that pack actually. They had some really nice items and things like that. So I don't use it a lot, but I thought for this build it's perfect. Also, I will apologize if you hear cars going past. We have recently moved all of our kind of streaming, gaming, everything equipment to the spare room, but it's literally right next to the road, and I've closed all the windows. It's just very loud, I'm afraid, so apologize if you hear that. Apologies, not apologize. Apologies if you hear that at all, but I'll try to fix it. We'll play around with the microphone a little bit more. So yeah, here is that area, as I mentioned, very zen, very peaceful. It took quite a long time to just make it look, you know, free growing and things like that, not manicured, because as I mentioned in The Sims, it's quite hard to make things look like, you know, they've been around for a long time, I think, sometimes. So you'll see how I do that though. I do use quite a bit of the debug items, especially the grass one that you will see a little bit later on, but that one is just amazing. I also saw like other simmers do that, and ever since then I thought, okay, I have to use that too, because all of the kind of grass textures that we have just in the normal catalog do not do it justice. That grass in the debug menu is by far the best one that you can use to landscape with if you want to make it look, you know, rugged and wild and stuff like that. So just a kind of a tip in case you're wondering how to get that same look and feel. I then added this statue. Again, I wanted it to look really kind of regal and royal and grand, but again, I think it just adds to that whole atmosphere that's really romantic, peaceful out here and things like that. I wanted to add, of course, like a place to sit down. I think this might be the only place to sit down, or maybe, because I think I only stick with that one bench, but I might have added another bench, over there somewhere, I'm not sure. But there are some, you know, places to sit down for your Sims. And I was just thinking this, I don't think I added an easel for them to paint on here, but I think I'll go back and add one, because this would be like the perfect place for a Sim to come out and just paint. You know, if you've got any kind of creative Sims, then I definitely think they would enjoy coming out here and just painting. So here again, got some lavenders out of the debug menu, and you can see here, this is the part that I mentioned in the last part, where they can kind of come down from the, I don't know what it's called still, the room with all the doors, the arches, and then they can come out here and just be in the outside. Here you see me adding a lot of, again, debug items, debug menu items. These look like the ones that we have in game, but they're just sized up, so it's easier to landscape with them. And everything else you can see, I'm just kind of going through here and finding what I want to use. I did use a little bit more color here. Again, just more luscious green, and yeah, I think it looks great. I would love to sit out here with a cup of coffee in the morning and just, you know, you can just imagine like the sounds, the smell of nature, just everything in this place. Like the little fountain as well. I don't know, I just want to be there. I want to be there so bad. It looks like my kind of place. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this little part of landscaping, but in a bit we will actually go inside and start on the interior. So yeah, if landscaping is not your cup of tea, don't worry, it's not going to be the whole video this time. We will have a range of indoors and outdoors sort of furnishing. So yeah, enjoy this a lot. I enjoyed this a lot. As I said, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole build. And I haven't actually played in this house yet. I've really enjoyed building recently, so I haven't spent much time playing in this house and, you know, kind of using it as the retirement home that it was meant to be. But I'm sure I will get to that. I'm just, yeah, kind of in that building phase at the minute, and I think a lot of people go through that on The Sims. Like, you either go on it and you think, okay, I want to build a family and I want to play this and this kind of storyline, or other days you just log on and you think, okay, this is what I'm building today. Now we are on the left side of the plot of land, as you can see, right next to the little car area. And again, I just wanted some sort of yeah, I don't know, like a little garden, some flowers. I don't know what to call it. I really don't. I'm not really good at these like names of specific things. Oh, also what I built here, I forgot to say it in the last part. You see it here, the little cemetery. And the reason I'm laughing is because I found this sort of little garden fencing thing as a debug item in itself. So the whole like fence and the fence gate and everything. And it just gave me an idea to put a little cemetery. So I did that, and I thought, you know, well, they're a bit old and some of them might pass away, and maybe they would like to be, you know, laid to rest in this plot of land. I mean, it's a beautiful plot of land, and, you know, maybe they have like nice memories here, and I don't know, I thought, to me it kind of made sense. I mean, it is a bit dark, I know, because it is a retirement home, but to me it made sense at the time. And then I think Mark, my partner, saw me building this, and he was just a bit like, why do you have a cemetery here? Like, that's really just weird. And I don't know, it just makes me giggle because I didn't see it in that way. I thought, you know, they kind of come here to live that last part of their lives, and if they choose to be laid to rest here, then they can be. So yeah, that's the way I saw it. I'm sorry. I just kind of like the idea of that. And maybe, you know, if, let's say, someone's best friend passes away, or, you know, their partner or someone like that, then they can still live in this huge mansion and they don't necessarily have to see the cemetery, but then they're able to just come out and mourn whenever they want to. And it's a very kind of like peaceful place, very secluded. I made sure to add lots of trees, and even the windows that look out into it, I don't think you can clearly see the cemetery. You just see like a lot of ivy growing up the windows and things like that. So yeah, don't worry, I kind of made sure to make it a bit, you know, separated from the build itself. So yeah, that was my little story about the cemetery. And if you don't like it, of course, just, you know, just get rid of it. It's fine, it's fine. I won't take offense to it. But yeah, as you can see here, I added lots of trees. So you really won't see it from the front unless you're kind of looking for it. And there is a path to the cemetery from the back of the house. Like, you have to go through the garden kind of plots and things like that. But you will see that in another part. So yeah, that's the little cemetery here. This place really has everything. And yeah, the idea was that the car park there as well is just for kind of guests that come to visit the residents that live here. So now we are on to the grand entrance, and of course every grand entrance has to have a double staircase situation. So here you see me clearly struggling with the stairs. I did not know how to do this, and every time I try to use the stair tool, I don't think it ever works for me. I am so rubbish at, you know, figuring out how to turn it and how to use it. I just don't know, so you will always see me struggling with them. It's just the way it is. But yeah, for this grand entrance, I wanted it to act as sort of the, you know, the main area. You can come in and then you can choose where you want to go. So to the right wing of the whole place is going to be where the bedrooms are, their own, you know, place of residence, basically, where they're going to stay, their own personal bedrooms. And to the left is going to be the kitchen, the dining room. There's going to be a library, and then the butler's wing at the far left. And then, yeah, straight through, as you can see now, the door will move, but straight through will be the part that we're going to work on today, which is the main living communal area sort of place. And that also then leads straight out to the outdoors as well, to the outdoor garden that they have. So yeah, this is just kind of the main place where they can greet guests, and then you can choose where you want to go in the house. Or, you know, you can also go upstairs, of course. So I think I also added a toilet here, like a guest toilet, and then the other side was also a toilet, but it's an ensuite to one of the bedrooms, so you can't access it from this kind of main entrance hall. But yeah, I really like the way it came together in the end. I used a lot of the same wallpaper, and I apologize for this, but it's one of my favorite wallpapers. I think I'm choosing it now, and I think it's from CC by Peacemaker, but I will make sure to leave that in the description. Yeah, it is Peacemaker. I will sure to make leave a link if you are interested in getting the CC. As I said, you know, you don't have to have CC to download this. You can easily replace the wallpaper and things like that. It's just a visual sort of, my preference visually for what I wanted the place to look like. But I just love that paneling. I think it's so simple, yet it's so beautiful to look at. It's very nice. And I chose this kind of light green tone to it. It's like a minty green tone. I did want the place to look still quite homey, you know, it's where they are, where they live all of the time. So yeah, I didn't want it to look too much like a kind of a retirement place. It's still a bit homey, I hope, but of course it's got the feeling that, okay, this is a place where a lot of people share, a lot of people live here. So yeah, just trying to find kind of the balance between the two, I think, for this place. But yeah, so you can see here it's kind of coming together. I even added some bills and things like that on the table, so that they can just kind of get them. And as I said, you know, they'll probably have a butler or some sort of sim living with them that can actually help them and yeah, just make sure that everything is running smoothly, so they don't have to worry about those things. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well at the moment, keeping safe, you know, educating yourself about what's going on at the moment and things like that. I will be sure to leave some links down in the comments below, just in case you kind of don't know where to begin with all of this. I kind of went, on a little learning experience as well throughout this time, just to really find out what's happening and, you know, how someone can help with this. So yeah, I will leave the links down below in case you're also interested. But I will say, if you watch Netflix, you know, if you have a subscription and you're interested in learning a little bit more about the movement of Black Lives Matter, there is a fantastic documentary on Netflix. And I don't know if it's, you know, available in every country, but if it is, it's called 13th. Well, there's actually two that I've watched, but the one that really stood out to me was 13th. And yeah, it's just incredible. It's kind of talks about the whole history of America and, you know, how Black people were mistreated back then, but also now. And it goes into a lot of depth about the prison industrial complex as well. That was something that I learn about, I think, for the very first time. As you know, bad as that sounds, I heard about it, but I never looked into a lot of detail. And I think this isn't the time where we can go like, oh, it doesn't affect me, or, you know, oh, I'm not a racist, so I'm not in this part of the group that need to care about these things. But I think it's beyond that. I think we should all care about these things because it is the world we live in, unfortunately. And yeah, change needs to happen. So anyway, that documentary highly recommend. It was incredibly directed, incredibly shot, and it had just so much eye-opening information in there. And the other one I watched was When They See Us, and it was also a case, I think it was in the 80s, I don't remember the exact date, but it was about the Central Park 5, as it was known at the time, or is still known as. And it was a group of kids basically that were wrongfully accused, who, as you can imagine, were not white. So yeah, it's a very interesting story about the journey that they went, you know, interesting and horrifying journey that they went through. And yeah, it was just, it's very, very heavy. I don't know what other word to use in Dutch. Yeah, we use the word heavy, zwaar, when something just kind of, you know, sits on your chest heavily and you have to kind of really process that. It's definitely one of those things, and there's so much information and a lot that, yeah, can open your eyes and just make you aware. So those two I would definitely recommend, and I'll leave the information down below if you're interested. But yeah, this is something that I want to talk about. I think everyone should talk about and just discuss this. There's nothing wrong with discussing these issues, and I think they've been swept under the rug for way too long, and now is a good time again to bring it up to the surface. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. But those two documentaries, highly recommend. Anyway, we are now onto the living room, the communal area. And as you can see, it's coming together. I said in the last part, this furniture I would not usually use. It's really not my style. It is a little bit old-fashioned, but I wanted it to have this really homey feel, and yeah, just make it feel lived in, you know, have a range of different styles, maybe different artwork, just a lot of different things that can somehow resonate to the Sims that live here, I suppose. But yeah, I kind of like how it turned out. You know, I would not really want this for like a place that I would live in personally, and I can imagine it's not a lot of people's styles anymore, but I think it still turned out quite nice, and yeah, I like it. I had to convince myself there, but I do think I like it. The living room itself, it was a very, very big space, so I kind of separated it into three, I suppose. There's this main space that we're working on now with the fireplace, where they can just come down and have a chat. You see here that I didn't add a TV or anything like that, and the reason for that was that I added a whole kind of cinema room, if you want to call it that, like home theater kind of room upstairs, so that they can just, yeah, go upstairs and enjoy a movie together. Whereas this place is more of, you know, just come, sit down, have a chat, have a catch up, or if family visits, friends, then they can easily come here and also just enjoy their time together. I did add music, however, and things like that, so they do have some entertainment here. And then another section that we'll work on in a little bit for the living room is actually like yeah, it's got like a little bookcase. I forgot the word there for a second for bookcase, but it's got a little bookcase. I think yeah, it's just some more like, oh, you can sit down and do your hobbies here, you know, read a book. You don't necessarily have to chat. But what I did have in mind, and I mean, you could technically try this. I think it is possible with clubs. So if you have get together, then you can definitely make like a book club. And that's kind of what I envisioned for that, you know, the Sims can get together, they can choose a book to read, and then they can, yeah, start their kind of meeting, gathering, and just discuss a book. I really like that idea. So there is a corner of this room dedicated to that, but of course you can use it anyway. And I'm just so excited because I know that there's a stuff pack coming. We don't know when, but there will be a stuff pack for knitting. And I think, you know, when I was looking at this footage again of this place, I really like how it came together, but I just thought, oh, if we had knitting, it would go so perfectly in this place that I can just imagine those Sims coming here and just sitting together, listening to music, and having a nice little knitting session. So I'm very excited for that. And I kind of told myself, I won't lie, not long ago that like, oh, I won't buy any more expansion packs or anything like that. And yet here I am saying, you know, I've got the eco lifestyle and I've got the knitting one, and and everything like that. But I don't know, I think the Sims team are kind of, yeah, putting in a bit more effort now to the packs, and I'm quite happy with them. You know, as I said, Eco Lifestyle, haven't played too much of the gameplay yet, but from what I've seen from gameplays and, you know, I had a look at the buy and build catalog, it looks really, really nice. So yeah, I'm quite pleasantly surprised, I would say, with what they're doing at the moment. There is also this whole thing now that's going around with like story progression that they've added as well to the game. So you'd get like a text message and you can make a choice for other Sims, like the NPCs of the game. And I think that's such a nice idea because, you know, myself, I use mods for kind of story progressions and character progressions with Sims that I don't actively play in the game, like the MCC Command Center. That's a great one to use if you are interested in it. I'll also leave a link, but that one really, really does just change your whole game. It was a little bit hard to figure out how to use it, but once you do, you know, it's a little bit intimidating, but once you get to know how to use it, it's a really, really great mod. So I'm happy to see that the Sims team are doing something similar, and, you know, they're taking a step in the right direction for that. I think that's a great, great idea. But what I would still like to see, and I was so disappointed in this, that, you know, we had an update not long ago for like the Mac makeup basically in the game, and you might have seen that already. It's just a free update, so everyone got it, but I don't know, the makeup itself was horrible. And I'm all for free updates, you know, I absolutely love that they did that. Of course, like, we can never really complain about getting free stuff, but I just thought, why on earth would you put, I don't know, like, it seemed like the minimum amount of effort into makeup. If you look at it closely, the lines of the makeup are not even, you know, straight, like on the lips, they're kind of all wonky, and the texture doesn't look very good. The makeup itself, like, I'm not speaking about the makeup itself. I think, you know, I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not really a makeup expert, so I think it looks, for some of my Sims, it will look absolutely amazing, and I think a lot of people do enjoy how it looks. It's very, you know, modern and just, yeah, interesting. But it was just the amount of effort they put into it that I was disappointed in. And also, for all of the darker skin tones, it doesn't look nice at all. I think maybe out of the lipsticks, maybe 2 of the swatches from like 3 of them were actually nice. And, you know, I'm not just saying that as the only one. I know that a lot of people are really, really disappointed in that, but not surprised, you know, and that's just so sad that yet again we're kind of not surprised by something like this. But I know now there is a petition that everyone can sign at the moment on change.org, and it is just to add more kind of skin swatches, skin tones to the Sims 4, because it's just not represented well. But also the darker skin tones, again, are not made very well, and it's just a shame because when the game came out, it didn't even have the wide range of skin tones that it does now. I think it took them like a couple to a few years to even implement that into the game. And now people are still unhappy, and now the makeup's come out and it just looks terrible, and oh, it just yeah, as I say, disappointed, not surprised. It's very, very sad. So yeah, I'll leave that down below. I'm leaving a lot down below today, but you know, it's important. I think in the Sims community, everyone wants to be represented. So yeah, it's a really good petition to sign, and I hope that they do something like that for the game. That would be amazing. But anyway, I'm rambling on again. But yeah, we're still in the living room. As you saw, I did that other seating area, and now we're doing this one. I did get rid of the seating area that we just finished with the side, kind of the side sofa, because I ended up putting a piano there. I thought that's a really, really nice sort of entertainment spot. So yeah, there's still plenty of seating, but there is also a piano there in the end. And here, this is where I imagined the little book club Sims to come together and just discuss what they've read and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this speed build and me ranting on about things, but I hope that you feel as passionate as I do, and please check out the things that I'll leave below if you're interested. And yeah, you know, use my platform as well, use the comments down below or anything like that if you want to discuss these things. I'm not against it at all. So yes, enjoy the rest of the speed build. I'll stop talking now and just let you kind of see it. And here we go, here's the screenshots. Take care everyone, and I'll catch you very soon with the next parts. Bye bye.